And you're already mad.
I am.
Why are you mad?
I can hear the military jets above us. I cannot see them.
We continue our Phoenix area tour with the third airport of the trip after last week's visit to Aachen. We were expecting a small, desolate field, but instead we flew straight into a living, breathing piece of World War II history. Not only was it not desolate, aviation here is very much alive. Today, we're heading to Coolidge Municipal Airport in Coolidge, Arizona.
Coolidge traffic, helicopter 7098 Papa is about 2 miles northwest. We're going to be entering a right downwind for runway 23, touch and go to Coolidge.
Today we'll be departing Aachen on a VFR afternoon, which definitely changes the conditions from smooth to slightly windy and bumpy, but nothing too bad. We'll climb up to 3,500 feet with an eastbound departure, and once arriving to our destination, we'll enter right traffic for runway 23 in what is probably a typical busy day. As always, check out AFTW.org for Phoenix area procedures. They actually have slides that focus strictly on Coolidge and how to practice IFR approaches into the airport.
Coolidge traffic, Aero 1939 Hotel, 10 miles to the west inbound for right traffic, 23 full stop, Coolidge.
Now it's time to dive into a little history. So today's airport actually started as a World War II military field. Back in the early 1940s, the U.S. War Department built what was originally called Coolidge Army Airfield, naming it after Captain Hamilton Coolidge, a World War I flying ace. The location in Arizona's Sonoran Desert wasn't random. It had dry climate and year-round flying weather, making it a perfect place for military operations.
Coolidge traffic, Oxford 6978, turning right crosswind, Coolidge. Takeoff Surface 1040, crosswind departure terminals, good.
Traffic, helicopter 7098 Papa, entering the right downwind for runway 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
During World War II, it served as an auxiliary to nearby Williams Army Airfield. It functioned primarily as a ferrying and transport stop for the Air Transport Command, moving aircraft from factories to combat zones. Heavy bombers like the consolidated B-24 Liberator, fighters such as the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, and transports like the Douglas C-47 Skytrain all passed through here. At its peak, the field had 3 concrete runways in a triangle layout, 2 of which are still in use today, which we'll see shortly.
Coolidge traffic, Metro S317 is established at the Ray for the RNAV 23 approach into Coolidge traffic.
Coolidge traffic, helicopter 7098 Papa, right base 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
After the war ended, the airfield was declared surplus and it was briefly reconsidered for continued military use. But then it finally transferred to Pinal County in 1950 for public airport use. And in 1959, ownership passed to the city of Coolidge, officially making it a civilian airport.
Regional takeoff Surface 1040, crosswind departure terminals, good.
Coolidge traffic, helicopter 90 Papa, short final runway 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
Now, even though the airport was converted for civilian use, the military story here wasn't over.
Coolidge traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, 5 miles to the west inbound right traffic, full stop 23, Coolidge.
In 1962, the U.S. Air Force signed a long-term lease and began using Coolidge as an auxiliary training field for pilot training operations connected to Williams Air Force Base. T-37 jet trainers used the airport heavily for pattern work, touch and goes, and landing practice. That would have been cool to see.
Coolidge traffic, Oxford 6978, turning right base for runway 23, Coolidge.
By the 70s and 80s, the airport was seeing up to 375 flight operations a day, mostly T-37s flying continuous traffic patterns. For decades, Coolidge played a major role in training hundreds of Air Force pilots every day, but that all came to an end in 1992 as part of the post-Cold War drawdown and the closure of Williams Air Force Base. But it's almost like this airport draws back the military because today there are military parachute training facilities on the field.
Coolidge traffic C341, right downwind, runway 23, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic, Oxford 6978, turning final, runway 23, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic, over 1939 Hotel, entering the 45 for 23, Coolidge.
Coolidge Municipal Airport is untowered at an elevation of almost 1,600 feet with two runways, 1735 at nearly 3,900 feet and 0523 at over 5,500 feet. There used to be a third runway here back when it was a military base, but today that former runway is mainly used for aircraft storage.
Traffic C341, right base, runway 23, Coolidge.
If you're landing on runway 23, it can look like you have to back taxi if you miss taxiway Alpha 3. But don't worry, there are exits available at both ends of the runway. Just keep in mind that taxiway Alpha 2 is a bit rough in spots, so plan to taxi slowly and take your time. So we have to talk about the future of this airport because there are a lot of plans. In 2023, the city finalized a 20-year master plan that lays out development through 2040, and it's pretty ambitious.
Coolidge traffic C341, final, runway 23, Coolidge.
All right, gas, undercarriage, extra full, crosswell, seatbelt, landing lights. Coolidge traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, entering right downwind, 23, Coolidge.
The airport is projecting steady growth in general aviation operations, driven largely by the local training flights and tenants like Complete Parachute Solutions, which is that military training operations company, and eCube, which is the company that stores, disassembles, and recycles airliners, like the one stored on the taxiway, which you'll see on our departure.
Gas, undercarriage, mixture full, crosswell, seatbelts, landing lights.
One of the biggest plan changes involves the runway layout. Right now, the intersecting runway configuration creates some operational limitations, so the plan is calling for separating and improving them. For example, runway 0523 could be extended from just over 5,500 feet to somewhere between 7,500 and 8,100 feet.
Coolidge traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, turning right base, 23, Coolidge.
Long enough to comfortably support larger general aviation aircraft and business jets. Runway 1735 would also be relocated and lengthened with full parallel taxiways.
Coolidge traffic, helicopter 18 November is 1.5 miles to Rocco. We're going to enter Rocco and get established on the RNAV 23, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic, Metro S 317 is just past Rocco, descending down to 1826 for the option for runway 23, Coolidge.
6978, right downwind 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic, Aero 39 Hotel on final for 23, Coolidge, full stop.
Runways aren't the only thing that are being expanded. With all this land surrounding the airport, there's also significant hangar space to be added, up to 200,000 square feet, along with expanded apron areas to support more based aircraft, and fuel facilities would be upgraded, including increased Jet A and 100 low-lead capacity and a new FBO terminal. So make note of that pad to the right that's labeled now New Transient Parking, because later we'll discuss why it's a little bit confusing.
Coolidge traffic, Oxford 6978, extending the right downwind 23 for the instrument traffic, Coolidge. Coolidge traffic C341, right cross and runway 23, Coolidge.
Now let's talk weather. This is the Phoenix adjacent area, and Coolidge is about as VFR friendly as it gets. Now there's one major factor as always, and that is the heat, which means density altitude. Fall, winter, and spring bring smooth air, low humidity, and consistent VFR days. Winter is especially great for performance, which we thoroughly enjoyed on this trip. But you can't talk Phoenix without talking about summer.
Alright, cruise traffic, Aero 39 Hotel, clear of 23, Coolidge.
May through September, temperatures routinely climb above 105 degrees. Even though airport sits at only about 1,500 feet, density altitude can make you feel like you're operating out of a mountain airport.
Fuel pump off. Fuel pump off.
Landing light off.
Landing light off.
Anti-collision off.
Anti-collision is off.
Transponder VFR 1200.
1200.
And trim
Coolidge
to
traffic
neutral.
C341, right downwind, runway 23, Coolidge. Coolidge traffic, Oxford 6978, turning final 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
Now, as far as instrument approaches, as I mentioned earlier, there is a document on AFTW.org that outlines how to do practice approaches here, which includes stacking aircraft near the initial approach fix. Once again, consult a CFI as it frequently can get congested, as you heard today. With so many students going through their ratings, training for IFR includes making a lot of practice approaches, and these non-tower airports are crucial to fulfill those hours. There are two approaches here. First is the VOR runway 5, which uses the Stanfield VOR about 25 miles to the west. And next is the RNAV GPS for runway 23, which uses an LPV minimum of 250 feet AGL. Now, it's no surprise that there's a lot of traffic here, especially student traffic, and it includes both fixed wing and rotorcraft. We arrived on a Saturday, so it is quieter than usual, but on the weekdays, you can possibly see military parachute training, which you will be reminded of not to overfly the southeast portion of the airport for this reason. Keep an eye out and ear out for traffic on long finals doing those instrument approaches.
Braking brake set.
Braking brake set.
Throttle 1000 RPM.
1000 RPM.
Make sure idle cut off.
Idle cut off.
All your lights.
Coolidge traffic, that's a 747 with a pop up.
And panel.
Avionics master off.
North.
Well, if that wasn't confusing enough, at least we found a parking spot. So now it's time to go explore Coolidge. So we are in Coolidge Municipal Airport, right? And you're already mad.
I am.
Why are you mad? Tell them.
I was mad at auction because I can hear the military jets above us. I cannot see them.
Yeah.
And I know it's military because they make this distinct, it's like a crackle, right?
It's like crackle. So now we landed in Coolidge and she still hears them. They're taunting her.
But what's really cool here, I heard on the AWAS coming in when I was checking for weather,
Okay.
it said military jump operations,
Oh, that's right.
50,000 AGL and below, do not overfly the southeastern quadrant.
Meaning that side.
Right. And we were coming from the other side, from the west.
So we stayed on the northwest.
We did. And I was wondering what that was about until we got here. And I saw the planes on the ramp and I said, holy moly.
I know, because they're all jumper planes.
They're all of them military jumper planes. And we'll show you guys what that looks like in a minute. I'm sure you saw when we came
I
in
know.
taxiing.
Yeah, the taxiing was a little weird because, again, once we came in, it was like I didn't see a whole short bar line. So I was kind of confused on when to say that. And I don't know. Once we got off, it was fine.
Yeah.
But even coming in, how many were in there? Like, there was like 4 planes. There's 2 coming from the IFR approach. There was a helicopter leaving, and when I asked him where he was, he never responded. So I'm like, hopefully they see us. Luckily, you had eyes on him.
Yeah.
And so it's a little crazy here. And that's today with no military jumping going on. So I can only imagine when that happens. So, but you guys can see behind us, there's this old hangar that looks pretty cool because we like old hangars. So we're gonna go check that out.
Yes.
And then there's a couple of people here. Maybe we'll go see what they're up to, but we're definitely gonna go check out all the aircraft that are here and show you guys what they are because yeah, so many jump planes. So you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go check out Coolidge.
So we just found out that this building here is one of the original hangars from when this was Coolidge Army Airfield. And this airfield was originally meant to train single-engine fighters that I think were originally stationed at Sky Harbor and then moved here once this kind of opened and was prepared for that use. And this is like one of a few buildings that is still around. And I think it's 120 feet by 80 feet, which makes me wonder, what did they have in here? Because the hangar is wide, but it's not very deep. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, which planes were they using at this airfield back then? We're gonna have to look into that. But the other thing that's interesting about this airport is that they had initially 3 runways that were in a triangle configuration, and actually today only 2 of those runways remain. I think it's 1735 and 523.
Oh.
So that other runway, I'm not really sure what happened to it. Maybe it just, they stopped using it.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, the prevailing winds are 2-3 today, so.
Well, maybe that says something. So yeah, I don't know what this hangar is used for today. It looks like storage, right?
Yeah, well, there's only one rule I always have by going to these places. If there's a sign that says restricted area, we do not go in it. So unfortunately we won't go in, but we get to peek inside. One of the more impressive things about this hangar are the doors, which are comprised of over 700 panes of glass, all in their original configuration. But it looks like the hinges have since been replaced. It looks like it's just storage. Got some engine parts. It's actually really nice, to be honest. This is where the skydivers gather before boarding. And speaking as someone who has jumped multiple times, this is the calm before the storm. And no, I don't jump anymore. I fly planes, I don't jump out of them. So one of the things that we read on ForeFlight is that the fuel pumps are problematic. And by that I mean that it's some of the cheapest fuel, but apparently you can't use a credit card. But I don't know, like, how do you pay for fuel then? So we're gonna go find out and put a rest to this mystery that is fuel with no credit card. What is that? This smaller building, also a World War II relic, was originally used as the tech and supply building. They made a few modifications to the front, but it's mostly original and still in use.
So Jet A.
415, I need a jet. All right, let's see how this works. See what's going on here. When you come here to Coolidge, we've confirmed one thing. Credit card does work just fine. At least today it does. I'm not saying that the people on ForeFlight, that they were liars, because fuel pumps work some days and they don't work other days. That's all I'm saying. But there are instructions at the bottom. Read those instructions, because we did not read it when we came up. And it's mostly because it's so low. Maybe it was higher at a time. I don't know, maybe. So all you have to do is put your card in the right one, and it says on top, credit cards only. So it does take credit cards. You put it on here, slide in and out, and then you follow the instructions here. It tells you what pump. You're gonna do pump number 1 if you're avgas, pump number 2 if you're Jet A, how much gallons or dollars. And then you come here, and this is a little weird, but yeah, you just push this up, and then you slide this out, and it starts the pump right away. That's all you gotta know. And then you just slide it back in. It is not easy. It takes a little bit of force. Whoa. And then you just push this button, because this is the one that winds up the hose. So we always like to know how many gallons of fuel we put in. They have a counter down here, but I believe that one is the one we could probably use. So probably don't worry about that, just use that. And then this is, I feel like this is the most we've talked about a fuel pump.
Well, I think because this one is unique.
It is very unique.
The other ones tend to be very straightforward.
Yeah. Like I said, never have I seen one like this.
Nope.
We've never seen one, so we have to give details.
Yeah.
The mystery of, does this work? It does work, it's just a little different. We decided to check out this giant new hangar and offices, and turns out WWII Aviation provides the planes and maintenance for the planes used for the jump operations here, and this is their new space. They have two other locations, Spain and Wales. Now they chose Coolidge for the same reasons that other airports like Mojave and Victorville also have boneyards, the dry desert environment. It looks like these planes are in the process of disassembly, or better known as prepping the plane for recycling. They've already had their interior stripped, but little details like this plaque are reminders of its previous life. And these planes appear to have completed the process of depollution, where all the fluids have been drained and the hazardous materials like fire extinguishers, batteries, and oxygen systems have been removed. This process can take anywhere from 2 to 5 days depending on the size of the plane. After this, they'll be ready for breakdown and recycling, where nearly 80 to 85% of the plane's material can be recycled. Before they destroy the structure, high-value components including instruments and electronics like avionics are removed for testing, certification, and are resold. And once only the shell remains, heavy machines like excavators with shears cut the fuselage and wings into smaller, manageable pieces. This fuselage looks like it's gone through the entire process and is ready for recycling. We weren't done exploring yet. We made our way back to the ramp to take a peek at a few of the larger planes.
So out in the distance, I'm sure you guys can see, it looks like there are
Spirits.
there's a Southwest, right?
Yeah.
And then a couple of other commercial airliners.
Looks like maybe Alaskan. Yeah.
Well, I always forget how big these are until we get up close to them.
Yeah. And of course, we had to get close up with the jump operation planes. The SD-3 Sherpa, the plane with the very pointed nose, allows for jump operations out of the back ramp and either side doors. And we noticed this netting above the back ramp door, and we wondered what was the purpose. Let us know if you know what it is and why it's there. These stubbier looking planes are SC-7 Skyvans and can be used for cargo drops off the back ramp in addition to jump operations. We love seeing military still using this field today, and we were pleasantly surprised to see the ramp lined with all these planes. We thought that the military operations at the airport had gone away after the Williams Air Force Base was closed in the 90s, but that's definitely not the case. And finally, we decided to see if there were any locals around we could talk to. Plus, these hangars just look really cool, and we wanted to get a closer look. We found out the information for you guys about transient parking. Yes, there's transient parking, but it is a very complex, I guess, situation because there's some growth happening at this airport. Technically, the transient parking is on the other side over there. The airport is expanding, I guess, slowly. We met one of the local tenants here on one of those really cool hangars. His name's Emmett, airline pilot, and we were just kind of trying to figure out, like, where do we park? And really, if you can find a spot somewhere here out of the way, it looks like you're good to go. Technically, like where we parked, we can stay there like a night.
Right.
You know, just don't stay there like multiple nights. But on the other side, they have new parking. Unfortunately, there is no easy way to get there to this side from that side. So that's what's going on with the transient parking here. And they have a shooting range over there. But we did find that there's a lot of new stuff here.
There is. It seems like it's
at that big hangar 6 months ago.
Yeah.
That's like new.
Well, and even those hangars that we seem to like so much,
yeah,
they're only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Which is not very old.
That's not very old at all.
And I think we need to point out, we have not found dedicated restrooms. The only thing we've seen around the field are porta potties.
You're right.
So if you need a bio break, this is probably not one of those airports.
But you're right. There is one next to the fuel pump. But that's it.
Well, there's one right here.
Oh, there's one right there.
Right behind me.
Okay, so yeah, everything's outside.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wait actually because these new guys that we met, they're gonna take up their Navion for the first time in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were just waiting to get cleared, I think some paperwork to come through, and they're literally gonna do it in the next couple of minutes. And it is a converted Navion with a Continental that came off of Cirrus that has 360 horsepower.
That's what he said.
With a custom cowling. The cowling threw me off. The cowling looks like a Cirrus cowling, but on an Navion.
Which is so weird because it's such, that Navion's such a big plane.
It is, I know. So, I don't know. We weren't intending to do that, but they said the next 10 minutes. So we're gonna wait it out a couple of minutes, 10 minutes or so, and see if we can see this new plane going up in the air. Why not, right? And
We're
you guys
here.
get to see it too. We are done here at Coolidge Municipal. This was a very unexpected type of airport. You didn't expect anything that's here.
No.
What's your most surprising?
I think I love that hangar, but the military jumping planes.
Yeah, so that was really cool because, yeah, we had no idea. You did have a little bit of a hint that that was going to be the case in the ATIS or the ASOS. But if you want to see military, you can do that here. But a couple of things just to reiterate, remember transient parking is very weird. If you can find a spot, great, but there's no way to get off the field, so I don't know. But we got lucky today. We met local. He had his inaugural flight in, well, he didn't, I think his test pilot did, in his Navion with a converted, well, not converted, but a Cirrus engine in it, 360 horsepower. And if you guys can hear it, that's him right now, and everything's going good.
Yeah.
That's good news for them. Thank you, Emmett, for giving us a little history about the airport. And that's it, right?
I think so. Yeah. This airport surprised me. I actually like it, and I love exploring things. And so coming on the weekend was like perfect for this.
Yeah, it really was. Again, just another cool airport that we never know what we're gonna see. And this is not what we expected, and it was awesome. Don't forget, there's a lot of training here. That's the last thing I wanna leave with is because make sure to keep your eyes outside, right?
Yeah.
And listen, because we came in at like 5 in the pattern. So that was
a little
crazy.
hectic, yeah.
So anyways, we're out of here, guys. And hope you like this one, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys. We love airports like these that are a complete surprise, and even better that it was an old Army airfield. Yes, parking was confusing. It was definitely one of the most unique fuel pumps we have used, but seeing all the jump planes was really cool. And who would have thought we would show up on the inaugural flight of someone's plane? Hopefully they're enjoying it and having some amazing adventures of their own. Again, it looks like the city has some major plans for the airport, which is always exciting. So if you want to see some living military history in the Phoenix area, this place definitely has some of that. Every airport has a story, and we feel incredibly fortunate to be able to share them with you guys. And that's all because of all our members, and we're sincerely grateful for them. Now, if you'd like to help us continue this journey and be part of the community that makes this possible, you can join us on Patreon, where we have monthly live streams, not including the live streams we do pretty much every airport we visit. We share more about what's going on with Hannah, and don't forget that you can join for free to get a preview of what we have going on over there. But again, thank you to all of our members. We initially thought this was a small airport with not much going on, but with the new hangars, buildings, and expansion of transient parking, it was really fascinating to think what this place will look like in a year. As we depart, you'll get a glimpse of all the retired airliners. And when we spoke to a local pilot, he says that he remembers flying one of those when he first started his aviation career, and he also got to witness that aircraft land here for one last time. So even though it was the end of that aircraft, it was his plane today that went up on its inaugural flight. This is the last untowered airport of this trip. Next week, we head back into the valley for good and visit an airport that is arguably the busiest one in the Phoenix area, Falcon Field. How busy? Well, let's just say I've never flown near formation with another plane on downwind. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, go fly, go discover.
Door secured.
Latch secure.
All right, here we go. Coolidge traffic, Aero 193 Hotel, taking runway 23, straight out departure, Coolidge.
Traffic 2703 on the dogleg 45 left downwind, correction right downwind, runway 23, Coolidge.
Traffic 6 Kilo Sierra, turning base for runway 23 code. Traffic 6 Kilo Sierra, turning final runway 23 Coolidge.
Traffic 2703 joining left down, correction right downwind, runway 23, touch and go, Coolidge.
Coolidge running 409 on the upwind for runway 23 for right traffic, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic, Sherpas 3, 10 miles to the west, going to enter midfield downwind for 23, Coolidge.
Traffic warning 409 turning right downwind for runway 23, Coolidge.
6 Kilo Sierra upwind for runway 23, Coolidge. Coolidge traffic 6 Kilo Sierra extending upwind, make room for the Sherpa for runway 23, Coolidge.
Coolidge traffic 2703, short final 23, touch and go, Coolidge. traffic 2703, upwind, runway 23, remaining in the pattern, Coolidge.
Chandler Tower, helicopter 7065 Romeo, approaching south plane.
Helicopter 7065 Romeo, traffic to helicopter midfield downwind for taxiway Charlie at the helipad, clear to land.
That's helipad, clear to land. We got the traffic inside 7065 Romeo.
Harrison 58, fly straight out to runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Tower, 162 land, Mike. Can we make this one a full stop, please?
Correction, the Skycatcher 2 land, Mike, roger. Wind 270 at 6.
Helicopter 118 November, approaching South Point.
Helicopter 18 November, you're number 2 at the helipad, clear to land.
Number 2 at the helipad, clear to land, helicopter 1118 November.
Chandler Tower, Skyhawk November 80283, about 12 miles to the southwest of the airfield, requesting a full stop with information November.
Cessna 80283, Chandler Tower, enter left downwind, runway 22 left.
Left downwind, 22 left, 283.
Turkey 8714 November, Chandler Tower, enter right downwind, runway 22 right. Harrison 57, short approach approved, runway 22 right, clear to land. Correction, clear touch and go. This is 21 Yankee, contact ground. Vision Jet 416, Papa Echo, Chandler Tower, hold short, runway 22 right.
Chandler Tower, helicopter 4 Romeo Juliet, like to reposition to the Quantum ramp.
Helicopter 4 Romeo Juliet, reposition approved.
Reposition approved 4 Romeo Juliet.
Skycatcher 2 lane Mike, runway 22 left, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 22 left, 2 lane Mike.
21 Yankee, you're on tower. Harrison 57, fly straight out for now. Harrison 57, that traffic's off your right wing now. Harrison 57, begin your right crosswind. I'll have you base in front of them. Cherokee 14, Christian 14 November, extend your down. I'll call your base. There's a Cessna behind you. Going to be making short approach before your base. Vision Jet 416, Papa Echo, fly straight out. Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.